The pen is cheap. That's the detail that will haunt you for the next 500 years. A blue ballpoint, plastic, the kind you grab off a bank counter without thinking twice. It sits on a clipboard, on a desk, in a waiting room that smells like burnt coffee and fluorescent light. The woman across from you slides it toward you the way people do when they've watched 1,000 others pick it up before you. You flip through the pages the way a dying person flips through anything fast, desperate, looking for the part that says yes. Because the cancer in your pancreas has been winning for 9 months, and this is your last option. Her name is Elena, gray eyes, a name tag. She tells you to take your time. You don't. You flip straight to the signature line. Your hand is shaking. You sign. And somewhere behind the door that's cracked open, 2 inches behind Elena's desk, you hear it. A second pen, scratching against a second page. At the exact same moment, yours lifts off the paper. You don't think about it again. Not for 500 years. The countdown begins. A man's voice, older, calm, tells you you'll feel a coolness, then a warmth, then nothing. He's right. You close your eyes. You open them in the year 3000, and the first thing you notice is that nothing hurts. No fire in your stomach. No metal taste from the medication you took every 6 hours for the last year of your life. You lift your hand, and it moves. Your veins are younger. Your body is wrong, not bad wrong, different wrong, and it takes your brain 3 full seconds to understand why you're crying. A face moves into view. A woman. She says, "You made it." Her name is Mira. She's your guide. She tells you you've been gone for 503 years. She tells you that 41 people preserved in 2026 were successfully revived. The rest didn't make it. Then she walks you to a window, and you see it. A city unlike anything your 21st century brain was built to process. Towers that move, not sway. Move because they're partly grown from the earth itself. Streets that are gardens. Flowers in colors you don't have names for. Air that smells like nothing. The way air is supposed to smell if no one was ever allowed to ruin it. And above all of it, the cars. They don't fly. They don't zip. They glide. Long, silent shapes drifting in invisible lanes, layer after layer of them stacked into a sky that's been engineered to hold them. You watch one descend toward a rooftop landing pad and touch down without a sound. 500 years. You start crying again. The first week blurs beautifully. Clothes that adjust to your body without explanation. A room where the walls go gold when you want them gold. A flying car ride where you press your face to the glass like a child. For about 10 days, you fall asleep grateful. Genuinely, completely grateful to be alive. Then the first wrong thing happens. It's small, almost nothing. Mira takes you to the gardens and stops at a bench. She pulls out 2 containers of food and hands you one. You open it. Peanut butter on toast, cut diagonally. You stare at it. You haven't told Mira what you like to eat. You haven't told anyone in this world anything about yourself. Every meal since you arrived has been something unrecognizable, some future food you didn't have words for. But this is from before. Your mother used to cut your toast like this, diagonal. It's not in any file you've ever filled out. Mira is already eating. She doesn't look up. You eat the toast. You don't say anything, but you don't stop thinking about it. The second wrong thing is bigger. You ask Mira if cancer still exists. She says no. You ask how it was cured. She starts explaining dates, names, institutions, her voice bright and rehearsed. But halfway through, she skips. Not a pause, a skip. She jumps from one sentence to the next like there's an entire paragraph between them she's been told to leave out. You smile, you nod, you say, "Wow." That night, staring at your gold-lit ceiling, something cold settles into you. The next morning, you ask about the public archive. Mira lights up. Everything is open, she tells you. Full transparency. She walks you to a library console and leaves you alone. You search your own name first. There's an obituary, normal enough. Then you search the Cryonics Company. Bankrupt 2071. Assets sold at auction. You follow the auction record. The buyer was a research group. The research group was dissolved in 2189, and here, the entry stops. Mid-sentence. A redaction mark. A note. Records sealed by court order. Sealed. In a world where everything is supposed to be open. You type one more search. Subject 7. A phrase you caught in the auction section. One result loads. A scientific paper from 2154. Most of it blacked out. But the abstract mentions a subject referred to only as 7. Study dates 2089 to 2151. 62 years. One subject. You close the console. You walk back to your gold room. You tell Mira the archives were lovely. You go looking that night. Mira gave you a tour of the facility days ago, but you take a wrong turn near the stairwell. The walls in this corridor are darker, older, somehow. And at the end of it, leaning against a doorframe like he's been standing there waiting for exactly you. A man, old, white-haired, thin. His left hand is missing the tip of the ring finger. He says your name. You stop walking. He tilts his head toward the room behind him. You found subject 7, he says. You'll find the rest whether I help you or not. Come in. You only get one chance to see that. The room is full of old screens. He taps one with his bent finger. A document loads. Your contract. Page 31, Section 14, Subsection C. You read it. It says you consented in language, buried 40 pages deep to the use of your preserved body and neural data in ongoing comparative research for the duration of your preservation period. It says the company can thaw, sample, copy, and represerve your material as needed. It says any consciousness generated from your neural data is the property of the company. You read it twice. The third time, you understand. How many, you ask? He doesn't look at you. 412 that we have records of. You sit down on the floor. He tells it slow. When the cryonics company went bankrupt in 2071, your contract was sold at auction. The buyer used that clause, the one on page 31, to begin running experiments, not just on your tissue, on your scanned neural data, your mind. For hundreds of years, copies of your consciousness were spun up inside simulated environments. Some lived for hours, some lived for years. Some were given full lives childhood to old age inside labs you would never see, and then erased when the data was collected. He pauses on that. Full lives. There are copies of you that lived to 104, copies that died as children, copies that never knew anything but the inside of a research environment. They had names. They had favorite songs. And when the experiment ended, someone hit a key. The technology that lets people in this city live forever, he says. They built it on us, the cryosleepers, the ones who didn't read page 31. In 2189, a new government passed laws against what had been done. The records were sealed. The 41 of us preserved well enough to revive were placed under state care, promised peace, promised a beautiful will. He looks at you, but we weren't promised the truth. You ask who he is. He's one of the 41. Woke up 15 years ago, had a Mira, had a gold room, had a flying car, and then he found a corridor, found a man who knew his name. Now he is the man. There's one more thing, he says. He taps the screen. A second contract, identical to yours, signed on the same day, the same hour, the same facility, but a different room, a different name on the signature line. He lets that sit. Her name is Hannah. She was your pair. The research group worked in matched sets. Every cryosleeper was paired with another. The two of you were thawed together, copied together, simulated together in matched conditions for hundreds of years. The second pen, the one you heard behind Elena's door in 2026, the one you forgot about in half a second and didn't think about again for 5 centuries. When you can speak, you ask the question, is she alive? He nods. She woke up 2 years ago. She remembers. How? One of her long-running copies when the research group merged it back into her prime template for storage. Some memories bled across. A flaw, a bug. She woke up with memories she had no right to have. Lives she never lived. A face she'd never seen. He looks at you. The face was yours. She's been waiting, he says quietly. You're the only other person in the world who shares what happened to her. It takes 4 days. 4 days of being the most grateful, most easily managed cryosleeper Mira has ever guided. 4 days of going to bed early. 4 days of letting her think you suspect nothing. The old man slips you what you need on the 3rd day. A name, an address, a way to get there without being tracked. On the 4th night, after Mira leaves, you get dressed in the clothes you came in 500 years ago, and you walk out into the city. It's quiet, but the cars still glide overhead. 11 blocks, a small building, a green door. You knock. The woman who opens it is in her 40s. She knows your face. You have never seen her in your life. She steps aside. You walk into her kitchen. The door closes behind you. For a long time, neither of you speaks. She makes tea. She slides the cup toward you the way Elena slid that contract across 500 years ago. Hannah looks at you. We have a lot to talk about. She talks for a long time. She tells you about the memories, not all of them. She says there are too many, but she tells you about the ones that won't leave. A house, small, wooden floors, a window that looked out onto a yard with a single tree. She lived there for 46 years in one of the simulations. She had a dog. She had a job she didn't love. She had a neighbor who brought her soup when it rained. She knows it wasn't real. She knows the house was code, and the dog was data, and the neighbor was a variable in someone's experiment. She knows. But it doesn't help. She tells you about the short ones too, waking in white rooms, being asked questions she didn't understand, being watched, being reset. She doesn't remember dying in those, but she remembers the moment just before, in some of them at least, like the air being turned off. You sit across from her, this woman you have never met, this woman who lived alongside you in places neither of you can fully remember for hundreds of years. You ask her what she wants to do. The records are sealed, she says, but they exist. The old man showed me where, names, dates, procedures. Every experiment logged in a server room 4 levels below the facility where you woke up. She puts her hands flat on the table. The people in this city don't know. They think the technology came from a lab. They think it was clean. They think no one got hurt. They did get hurt, you say. 412 times, she says, that they have records of. The plan isn't complicated. The old man has had access for years. The files can be copied. The copies can be released. Every sealed record, every redacted paper, every experiment log, all of it pushed into the public archives that Mira told you were open, making them actually open. The government will deny it, Hannah says. They'll say the records are fabricated. They'll say we're confused. They'll say the cryosleepers are traumatized and unreliable. Are we, you say? She almost smiles. Probably, but the files don't lie. The dates match. The procedures match. And there are 41 of us, 41 people who can stand in front of this city and say, this is what you built your paradise on. You look at her across the table. When? You say. Tomorrow, she says. If you're in, you walk back to the facility in the dark. The city is the most beautiful thing you have ever seen, and you know now what it cost. You let yourself into your gold-lit room. You lie down. You close your eyes. You think about 412 versions of yourself waking up, living, and being erased. You think about the copies of Hannah, who lived next to the copies of you in matched conditions, in worlds someone else designed and someone else deleted. And you think about the people in this city, the ones who will never get cancer, the ones whose children will never die of anything preventable, the ones who walk through gardens in clean air, under a sky full of silent cars and never once wonder how it got this way. They were just simulations, right? Just code and data, not real people. It wasn't actually you, right? But Hannah remembers the house with the wooden floors. She remembers the dog. She remembers 46 years of a life that someone built to study her and deleted when they had what. That's not code. That's a person who had a favorite mug and a morning routine and a spot on the couch where the cushion wore thin. 412 of those. And because of them, because of what was done to them, no one in this city will ever die the way you were supposed to die. No one will ever have to sign a 43-page contract at 3 in the morning because it's the only option left. You don't know if that makes it okay. You genuinely don't know. You don't know if anything makes it okay. You don't know if the question even has an answer, or if it's just the kind of question that lives in your chest for the rest of your life, quiet, permanent, never leaving. You think about the pen, the cheap blue ballpoint on the clipboard in the waiting room that smelled like burnt coffee, the way your hand was shaking, the way you didn't read page 31. You think about the second pen, the one behind the door, the one you heard for half a second in 2026 and forgot about completely. Until now. Tomorrow, you could make sure no one ever forgets what you went through. Or you could let it go. Walk through the gardens. Ride the cars. Let Mira bring you breakfast. Let the gold-lit room be enough. 412 versions of you suffered so that no one in this city ever has to. If you tear that open, you don't give those copies their lives back. You just take the city's peace away. You don't know which is worse. You close your eyes. You don't sleep.